You're listening to a Lost in the Groove segment.
Having good vibes with your bones and joints. Taking a trip into the groove. American groove. American groove. Into stoner world. Gonna play.
Kind of like working in a nuclear plant, you know? And you're the one that's responsible for that red button. And if you press it, like 20 nuclear missiles are just gonna go off and like destroy.
Like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, oh my god, definitely like Homer Simpson. For sure.
Ooh, welcome to American Groove, part of Lost in the Groove podcast.
Having good.
This is your host,
vibes.
Karissa, and your other
This is
host,
Dave.
the master. The
Yeah,
mastermind.
please. Master of my fucking ass.
I know.
Yeah, like.
I mean, I
no.
think you're the master of awesomeness.
Oh my god. You know, like I'm
Look
like
at
one
you.
of those people. No, first of all, like I'm one of those people. Like I just don't like compliment. I don't like. It's like I just a personal thing.
Look at you.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go grab a mug. 1 sec.
Oh, so David brewed tea, made me wait to start the podcast. Brewed some tea. He was like, I'm brewing tea. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So I went downstairs and I brewed some tea. And then I came upstairs and he's still brewing tea. Then he brewed tea for a while and I kind of started bitching. And I was like, man, I don't feel good today. And he was like, go make yourself some tea. I was like, I already did. It's in my hand. But basically, David made tea, brought the, like, tea. He didn't bring a teacup, but he brought your French press for tea that you have there.
Wait,
It's your teapot.
Yeah, I mean, I have a kettle and I have this.
That's a bougie way to make tea.
Well, I told you this, like the way that Moroccans we make tea is just it's mint and sugar. So
That
it's
sounds
mint
great.
leaves.
It's good for your body. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very comforting. Like there's iced tea and then hot tea, and it's very easy to make. But the thing is like we've been talking about this since like the beginning. Is it's very irritating when like you have neck pain or you're just fucking tired and you're just irritable and you just want
You talking about me?
No, I'm talking about me right now. Like, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm so tired. And, like, I haven't had a day off in God knows how long. I just, like, want a day to just do fucking shrooms and just enjoy my, like, 8 hours of peace and solitude. But I can imagine, like, you just, like, oh, my God, would this go away?
I will move every part of my body that can still move is like what I find myself doing. Like I can move my neck here, which is about, I would say, an inch to the right. And on the left side, if I kind of lift my shoulders up, I can look a little bit more that way. But this is about it. It's just maybe like 3 inches on the left and an inch on the right. And then every once in a while, it'll just do this like absolutely insane, like shocking, like pain feeling, especially if like I lift up something or lift my arms above my elbows. It's just absolutely insane. Like if my elbows are above my eyes, it's like, ah, like I was like, no, like I would do it. I would do the work for this to not happen, but I'm not really sure what it is. You know,
just like people, we have people problems.
Body problems. Body problems are what I have. My body is difficult to manage recently. Like ever since I moved, I feel like it's kind of like all over the place.
Well,
and I'm just like, can you stop creating challenges for me?
Well, your body is adjusting to the climate. I remember coming down here, adjusting to like the humidity and the density of the weather, you grow accustomed to it. For me personally, it took about 6 to 12 months. For other people, it probably can take shorter, but it's probably just your body adjusting to Iowa compared to California.
Well, it's been 3 months since my neck was fucked up, and I'm pretty grateful for the 3 months that I had, but kind of curious, like, what changed? Like, what did I do differently? Because, like, everybody's like, "Oh, you slept wrong." I'm like, "Slept the same exact way I always do." Yeah. When I woke up this morning, this is the kind of my experience. I was laying there, and I could feel myself waking up, and I turned, and I went, "Ah!" I was like I turned my head, and I was like, "Ah!" Like
You always need to scream in every single fucking episode. Like, I swear, you just need to get it in whenever you can. It's like,
people will be like,
Dave,
"I
I'm
stopped
gonna put it
listening."
in.
I stopped listening when she started screaming.
Oh
No, it was
my
bad. It was bad.
I
Yeah,
can imagine.
I like laid there like frozen, like like just like in my spot, like, all right, what way can you move?
Can you imagine just like Louis like pushing your head while going through this traumatic episode? It's like, Louis, stop! Louis, stop it!
I can't sit up. I lay
Oh
there and I
god.
can't lift my head. And so I have to put my arms behind me and push my body up. Like I can't just sit up cuz it's like like it's the craziest feeling in the world and it feels like there's absolutely no reason for it. Like I don't know, it's just out of nowhere and all of a sudden everything's just like fucked in my neck, which it drives me nuts because there's days where it's not a problem. So I know that in theory I have a fully functioning neck with no issues. But like at moments I don't. But it makes me know that like it can work correctly, that there's actually
You
nothing quite wrong with it.
I'm not a physician nor
I
a
know.
doctor, but from what you're describing, it sounds like you could have nerve damage because
But
we're
if I had nerve damage, wouldn't I feel it all the time? Not just like once every 3 months?
not necessarily depends on where it is. Remember, you had your shoulder injury, so
It's
depending of
it's
like,
100% related to my shoulder injury. Like I
Mhm.
know for sure it is.
So it could possibly be like the nerves or the tension in that area, but it, again, I'm not a doctor, but
No, I'm gonna go to one. I went to a doctor last week and they gave me like medicine for it and like some like topical like gel and
okay,
shit like that.
good,
And then I go to a chiropractor tomorrow and I know he knows his shit like
awesome.
really good.
Yeah, I need to go to a
So,
chiropractor.
when I woke up this morning, I was like, and I told you I just was like screaming and I couldn't even like move. Like I didn't know what way won't feel like horrible pain. I thought to myself, I don't care at this point that it costs too much to go to a chiropractor. Like, and it does. It costs way too much. Like, I can't do it, and that's why I haven't been doing it.
Well,
But I know that this person can help me. Like, they've helped me a long time ago, and I don't care how much it costs. Like, it is 100% worth it, and I will figure out some way to pay for it. Like,
well,
I need help. It's
yeah,
crazy.
chiropractors is kind of an old trade, but there's to me, I've gone to chiropractors before in the past and it's been extremely beneficial. Like you sit there and you're like,
I'm so excited. He was
do,
like, "We can
do
fit
you know
you
that
in today."
you know that feeling? It's beautiful.
I'm
Awesome.
interested to see if I can get any relief from my appointment because, like, I can crack it, but nothing happens. Well, I actually can't crack it. Like, I can't. But I have been able to crack it before when it's like this and nothing happens. But I'm so excited to go. When I lived in California, I was too afraid to go to a chiropractor because there's like so many that it's like I don't even know which one to freaking go to. Like, I mean, just like, thousands of chiropractors. And some of them I'm like, how long have you been doing this? And do you have any references? And they have like weird like package deals. And I'm like, this kind of
Oh
just
my
doesn't
god.
seem like, I don't know. It didn't seem like medical. Like it just seemed like kind of like go to get cracked. And it's like, no, I need somebody who like knows their shit like hard. This guy
I
that I
mean,
went to and I'm gonna go to again, he fixed my neck when I was like 21. I got
oh,
in a
you remember
bad.
the age? That's incredible.
Well, yeah, I think I was 21, 21, 22. I went to him for. I kept going like after because it was covered by my insurance, so like I could keep going. But I would say like he fixed my neck in a matter of like maybe 4 months, and I never had pain anymore. But I never had any pain like this. Like I had like an uncomfortable feeling, like if I sat in the same position for too long, and he fixed that. But I've never experienced anything like this. This started happening about a year ago. There, that's my vent. I've got more, but
No,
that's it, man.
no honey, knowing you've got a lot of vents, and I understand where you're coming from for sure.
My body is like not comfortable. Like, and I don't know if you know anything about like spectrumy people, but like I have to be comfortable, like physically. Like
I
my
don't know what
socks
this
have to
means.
feel right. I don't know. I'm just maybe extremely like particular about body comfort. Like I get like if I feel like a tickle anywhere on my body, I'm like ah. Like it's very I get stimulated really easy. I can feel like stuff that other people can't.
I can relate in a way where I'm particular. That's the word I'm going to use. I'm particular with how I do things. So I don't go bananas, but I definitely understand, like, a set, an order or structure. And like when you have like this body, which is going to be for with you for the rest of your life.
It's so scary right now.
Yeah, the thing that I've noticed is a lot of the deterioration towards the end of your life comes from the attitude of like reliance on a company for a paycheck, for retirement. That just leads to deterioration. Like the people that are able to age gracefully are the ones that are like, no, I'm still working because I love doing what I do. I'm not overdoing it anymore because I can't handle as much as I can. But I
I'd
don't know.
love yeah, I'm sorry. I would love to know if my neck pain right now is because of my shoulder injury. Because that would let me know that like being overworked is the reason that I feel this way, you know? But like I otherwise it's just like a mystery. Like what on earth is this all about? But I mean, I have faith that, you know, 6 months from now I'll be like, wow, that doesn't happen anymore. Like hopefully. I really hope this is not like a lifelong thing or that it like comes back later. I don't know, man. Freaking out over here, over analyzing everything because like pain makes your body like crazy. Like it also like affects the way that I breathe. And so like if I'm breathing like shallow, I'm a little bit more like on edge. And I really like it hurts when I take like deep breaths. Like so I noticed that like when I woke up that like my whole chest and everything is like tight and I'm like not really breathing like correctly. And I know that it makes my mood and like everything just kind of like like I'm like on edge about everything.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, when you're in pain physically or mentally, it can be it, distraction. It can get in the way constantly, and
Yeah.
it's very aggravating because when you're trying to like focus, for me, it's right now where I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. And
Did you say that you work 20 hours?
I worked Friday, I worked 10 hours. Saturday, I worked 11. And then Sunday, I worked 7 hours.
3 doubles in a row. Oh, 7 hours. It was almost 3 doubles in a row.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a lot, but again, like I'm the one that's like kind of like
Yeah.
the head of the kitchen in a way. So there's a lot of responsibility in that. And I do physically, like, my neck hurts, my shoulder hurts, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. I'm, constantly stiff, and it's like I don't exercise, so I know a lot of that comes from that. So yeah, I'm sorry if I sound incredibly boring right now. My
I'm boring
apologies.
as fuck.
We're both boring as fuck, and that's a good thing.
That's why we have a podcast that has listeners and followers, because we're boring as fuck.
As fuck, exactly. Put that on a t-shirt. You know what? Hashtag boring as fuck.
Yeah, hashtag listen to the most boring podcast on earth.
Oh my god.
That should be like our
all about the artist. That is the whole purpose of this podcast, period. And you have a really valuable tool. You can share this with artists, people that are creative, someone that can enjoy this podcast and really enjoy the experience of Lost in the Groove. So, with that, let's jump back to today's episode, shall we?
Boring as fuck.
Yeah, just slap that on a fucking Yugo and have a good day.
No, I do think it's pretty good. Like, I don't know, like it's my type of humor where it's just like, I'm gonna listen to my boring as fuck podcast.
Oh my god, bro. It's like fucking sitting on the toilet, and thinking like you've like
I don't
best.
know. That's not really that boring.
No. Like you're like thinking like you have like the best idea. Okay, I was thinking about this the other day actually, and this is kind of funny. And I was telling you this. Do you remember the episode in Friends?
Yes.
Where oh my god, where Joey plays this character that's in this like off Broadway production, and in there he gets on this ladder that goes into a spacecraft, and
I kind of remember that. Yeah,
and
I remember him doing like theater, like small theater shit. Louis, holy fuck. Sorry. God. You see how blue my eyes are when I'm sick and sad?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
They get really blue. It's like, everybody always says something. Like, whenever I'm having a terrible time, people will be like, your eyes look pretty. I'm like, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is nice. You're like, oh, thanks. I feel terrible.
I forgot what I was saying.
You're talking about Joey and his off-Broadway going up into a spaceship on a ladder.
Okay, so the thing about the episode was it was very, very serious, and kind of like it was kind of straightforward, it wasn't like too funny. It was kind of Joey was in love, and she was going out to California because she got a big production. And then towards the end of the episode, bam, he just gets up on a ladder and goes into a spacecraft, and it's just all weird. And they like waited until like the very end, towards the very end of the episode. You
didn't tell me about this.
Right. Because the whole episode was like pretty much just Joey and like liking this girl, and now like she's leaving to California. So that's my weird rant from Friends that I just like thought of as like, wow, they must have been so bored. Like one day they're like, how can we make this interesting?
It's a lot of effort building a spaceship and stuff just for like that one part of the show.
You just see the ladder, like there's no like you don't actually like see the spacecraft, but like that would have been a lot of money to do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I don't remember that episode as well as you say.
Somebody will probably know.
Oh yeah. One of our listeners, the people who listen to this, hell yeah, they're gonna be like, So you really don't just watch our podcast like 20-30 times? There's actually other people watching it?
I can't say that I am the one that's watching it 20 or 30 times, or say that I am, but there's a possibility.
There's a possibility that you're watching it 20, 37 times. No, our last one got a lot of views. I'd be impressed if like you actually like did all those views. Like I'd be like, wow, David, that's a lot of effort.
No. I don't do that.
Well, between the two of us, we both watch it about like 20 times. That's our 40 views.
Well, when I'm editing the podcast, I do go through the audio and sometimes the video to do the pod clips. But when I'm doing that, it's kind of interesting because even though I am under the influence primarily of nicotine, caffeine, and cannabis,
Cannabis.
It's, whoa. When you kind of listen back through the episode, you can hear the different parts, the different conversations. Again,
killing me, Louie.
We're a talk show. I mean, we're here to just talk about day and day, like stuff about us and shit like that. Yeah. So
yeah, I never thought of it like a talk show. You're right.
We kind of are. Like, we're stoners. We complain. We fetch. I mean, I'm Jewish, so it's in my blood to fetch and moan. So you got that element.
I am injured at the moment, so I don't always complain. But no, I don't always complain.
I know, but when there's a time to complain, complaining is due.
I can't keep it in, man.
I don't blame you. I can't keep it in either. It's like a fucking, like Mickey D's like quarter pounder that's like ready to be like digested, and it's just like halfway. Oh god, it's the worst. It is the worst.
I don't know why it's so hard for me to experience things like completely alone. Like if no one knew that my neck hurt, like nobody at all, like if I didn't tell my coworkers and I didn't tell you and I just sat through the entire day like this, never mentioned it to anybody, I would feel terrible. Like
I know. Well,
I would feel even worse than I already feel. Like
I think that's understandable.
I don't know. It really helps me a lot when, people go like, well, have you talked to anybody about it? Just like something like that. Like, I'm like, yeah, I did go to a doctor. Like, it's almost like I need people to remind me, like, so you're going to go to a doctor? It's going to be fine. Like, because I get a little like, like, this really hurts. And, but not all the time. It's just like, I guess when I'm talking to people, it's hard not to think about it. Like, it really hurts, So, like, if my mouth starts moving, it's hard not to talk about it.
Well, it's the same idea of we're trying to explain to somebody working in the food industry. To a lot of people, sorry, I'm just like kind of relating back and forth. To a lot of people, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why on earth would you spend your time for somebody else? Why on earth would you work painstaking hours and spend so much of your time? And the thing is, because it's a way of you able to build yourself a career, build yourself a profession, be a part of something that you can build towards.
Yeah.
And it's a way of being artistic and creative in a really extraordinary way. But like in your case, the thing that you need more than anything now is like not only a fresh start, but also to be able to like heal mentally and physically.
Which I haven't put any focus on. Like, honestly, like, I haven't. I've just been so focused on the fact that, like, I got away from how hard everything is. And, like, now that I've been here, I kind of have to, like, rehash, like, how bad it was. Like, I have to kind of, like, remind myself that it was bad enough that I wanted to leave. Because, like, this weather is, oh my God, what was it? It was, like, real feel was, like, 8 degrees today.
You serious?
8. I think it was 19 degrees outside, but they say that it feels like 8.
Well, it's
That's because
weird.
of the wind.
Yeah.
And it
You
was
get those from the
cold.
You get those from the mountains.
That's no joke, man. I had to put gas in my car today. I was like, damn. Because they're going to raise gas like 20 cents. Do you know that?
Do they do that in the winter out in Iowa?
No, it's just been like low for a while. Like, and it's been going down like for a few weeks. And then now it's going to go back up. So I went out and I got gas for $2.69.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Right.
That's nice.
But my tank was only halfway empty. It was $15
You know what I
to
would
do
do?
half a tank.
You empty the tank in over there, and just spill it out all on the floor, and then just fill it up. So you get it for $2.69.
Or just like get like one of those like to go gas containers and like
Yeah.
fill that bitch up.
Actually, it's kind of funny when you own a vintage car. That's one of the things you learn to carry with you at all times. It's just a canister of gasoline.
Yeah, I mean I have a gas container, but I don't put gas in it cuz I don't want gas like in my car.
Yeah, and those containers are really great for storage, but over a certain period of time, like 3 or 4 months, after that, like it's kind of like,
Oh
you
my
know.
god. I had one with gas in it like sitting out like near my car on the patio. And then my mom was like we were like leaving and she was like, "Oh, you should put that gas in your car." And I was like, "Dude, it's been out here for like a year. This like gas container out here." And she was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't care. I'm not taking chances." She's like, "Oh, gas doesn't go bad." And I was like,
Well,
"I'm pretty sure it does." Like, and my thought was that it had probably rained at some point and that like water could have possibly like gotten into it somehow because it rained like hard a few different times. We had like some weird storms.
believe it or not, fuel is organic matter. So there is organic
Yeah.
material inside of fuel,
Mhm.
which means it does go bad.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
you're gonna ruin my whole car, you know? Like, I'm glad I was here to stop you from putting that old gasoline into my tank.
Well, like for example, when you go to a fuel station, keep in mind everything's underground,
I know,
and
it's weird.
they have filtration systems. Remember, like, this is thing about bad fuel. Bad fuel is not good. Bad fuel
Shut down
is,
your whole car.
oh yeah, it's bad. But
Oh, that's probably the best I've felt like just now.
it's getting fuel.
Talking about getting gas to you. It's probably the best moment. I, for a minute there, forgot that I felt like shit. I know you. I was like, I feel really bad. Like, I don't know if I could do the podcast. And then I was like, you know what? It'll probably kind of help, like, pass the time and like, I don't know. I'll feel good that I did it and like everything. Like, it's hard sometimes to like
This
push
is
push myself.
this is probably like the best me time that we have, and that's kind of like what American Groove is. I feel like for me, it's
Me
all
time.
about, yeah, like we get to chill and relax and just talk shit, have our pets cuddle and bark and meow and howl. The thing is, like, real life has become a thing of fiction, and it's just become a thirst, and thing is, dealing with neck pain and lower back pain, like, I deal with shit like that all the fucking time, and it's like, I want to talk to people about it because it bothers me. It does. And it's like, I want people to be like, oh, did like you see a doctor about it? Like, I've even had my boss Andres like ask me like, oh, did you rest up? Like, are you okay? Like I had a fucking meltdown on Saturday, and he's like, at the end of the day, he's like, everything's okay, and then I fucked up on Sunday and I broke a bunch of shit, and he's like, it's okay, and
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
ridiculous to think that like we don't need people. You know,
We
like,
do
it's
need
like I do.
people.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Need each
sorry.
other.
I'm not gonna pretend to be tough, like, when I'm not.
We can be human
Like, I am
sometimes.
tough in ways, you know? I don't know. Ow. Ow is right. Ouchie. Ouchie like
Well,
a
I'm
little
gonna get a
fucking
little
girl.
personal. I've been dealing with eczema since I was 5 years old.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And it is the worst out here. It is so bad. Again, real things that
It's
we
so
deal with.
weird that it would be bad in Florida, like, because it's not, like, very dry.
See,
I know. The lady who does my nails has, like, the worst eczema. I mean, I've seen worse, but, like,
I don't have it as bad. I just have it in certain area, like under my kneecaps, like under my knees, and then on my hands. But it's actually interesting because of like my eczema. I'm very sensitive towards citric acid, so I don't deal with acids very well on my skin. So cutting up tomatoes and things I don't even sometimes will think about gloves,
where do you think
and
that comes from?
I'm more of my mom's side
Mhm.
than my dad's side.
Just, like, super sensitive skin.
Yeah, and I've kind of grown accustomed to when you're in that environment, you just learn to have a tough skin. Push through, do the best you can, which I try as much as I possibly can. But I sometimes feel like the biggest failure. I just do. I don't know.
Oh, shit. You want me to talk about feeling like a failure? Dave, you're not a failure.
Oh my
Like,
god, this
plus, you
tea is
still have a
so.
lot of fucking time, too, you know?
You do too, honey. And if you tell me otherwise, I'm gonna fucking get on a plane and bitch slap you.
Oh. Well, it'd be cool if you got on a plane, and if you have to slap me for you to be here, then.
Ayo!
Heyo, fuck it. I don't know.
That'll
Yeah,
be
I
nice.
wouldn't say this is like my best. I don't know. This isn't really my best self at the moment.
You're yourself whenever you're in that moment. No matter the moment. We're in this moment right now and we're living it right now.
I would just hate for someone to this be the first podcast of ours that they hear. Like they'd be like, these fuckers. It's like, no, please just listen to the Penny Lane episode. It's way better.
That was a really good episode.
This is my favorite episode of all of our episodes.
Well, that was a very in-depth episode. We kind of broke down. I tend to be a very deep thinker.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I love the complexity. And so one thing that always kind of struck me is this idea of life. What is life and what is consciousness? Because yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
this is how I think too, but I don't ever present it to people.
Oh my god.
Good job, Dave, for
Thank
just
you.
being honest about it.
So
yeah.
This idea of we're as beings, we're alive, but there's this sense of consciousness that when you remove that consciousness, life kind of goes away with it. And we don't really have an understanding of it. See, here's the other thing too is, and I've mentioned this to you before, and I've said this many, many times in the podcast, our bodies naturally produce psychedelics and cannabis. We have cannabidiol naturally, organically in our systems.
I've heard about that. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
So my thought process is this: what if consciousness is just a mixture of chemicals, a mixture of different compounds that the brain uses, but in many ways it's not
exactly what it is.
Physical. It's not a physical thing.
Well, It is a physical thing. It's
Physical in a way, but non-physical in another way.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is all the different parts of your brain interacting with each other and everything that's like around it, like your hypothalamus, you know?
In a way, like we are in a universe, but our brain is in a universe inside of us.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, our brain is definitely like a universe inside of like a universe. Because it's like
Yeah.
all like encapsulated. Our brains are like
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I like to think that like this is so weird, but
Where's my
like
joint?
if the brain is like, you know, like the inner being, our bodies are kind of more like this like exoskeleton. Like, you know, but not exoskeleton, it's a skeleton. But I'm saying it's like a covering of the brain basically. So it's like an armor in my opinion, which there was like a old anime show where they would get inside of like a cyborg. And this is like what gave me the idea. Do you remember that old anime show where he like jumped like up inside of like a robot and
Astro
like
Boy?
nah, I don't know, but it was cool and it kind of gave me the idea that like we I don't know, like you remember how like in Independence Day when they cut the alien open and they found out that like that like exterior was really just like an armor and like the real thing is like on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. We're going to lose it. Anyways, it's kind of like I felt like that's what we are. Is we're like just a thing carrying around like our consciousness. And honestly, everything that's inside of us and everything like makes it like walk around and, you know, move and eat and have energy and, you know, all those things. But I also like to think that like that the extension on top of that is when we put ourselves inside of like a vehicle or like an airplane or something like that. It's like an additional layer of like armor and like an additional like machine that like moves us around. And it's like, you know, at that point we're like 3 layers deep. You know, I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea.
No, it is. It's a really fascinating idea when you realize that we are a organic spacecraft flying through space. They see people have like I'm not religious, but my idea of God is label it whatever you want to call it. I call it the universe. You call it God? Sure. Same thing. We're inside of that. Whatever is in we're inside of that. We're made out of that. Whatever we're made out of that has created the molecules in DNA that has duplicated and multiplied over and over again to create what we are now. Over the 13 billion years that our planet has been around. This, again, organic spacecraft. So, religion or non religion aside, there is this understanding that we are all intertwined into the very fabric of what makes this universe exist because we are like we're made out of the same shit. You know, like they've been researching the asteroids that are connected to what made Earth. You like had the bio matter and chemicals that brought like different things together in cells. And it's fascinating. Some of them are soft, some of them are broken, some of them are hollow, some of them have like different types of material that changes the color. Like it's incredible when you realize just like
Yeah, we have the same amount of I know we have the same amount of water. We are the same percentage of water as human beings as the earth is percentage of water.
and there's more water
Same with like
underneath
the
the
salt content
surface.
of the earth. I heard
hmm
about that. How there's like a ocean under the ocean.
Yeah. And
Fucking
there is
crazy.
actually, it's crazy to learn this that in our solar system, Europa, which I believe is one of the moons that goes around Jupiter, has more water than the entire planet Earth combined. So it, it just opens up your mind and you realize to yourself, there's so much more
Mm-hmm.
than just species creation, whatever eco life bullshit crap. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
just
and I make
under
shit money an hour.
but just understanding that
Like, reality is minimum wage blows. It's like we got this big, beautiful world, oceans under oceans, and I gotta wake up to a fucking electronic thing screaming at me every morning, and it's fine. I'm grateful. Okay.
hey, it's Dave, and I quickly just wanted to jump in and say if you've been enjoying the podcast and enjoying this episode, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll be so greatly appreciated. Because here's the thing, someone might read that review and make the choice if they want to listen to the podcast. You get to help grow this podcast with us. How fucking cool is that? Let's jump back to today's episode.
Seeing what there is out there and like feeling like I didn't like just waste my life and like everything wasn't like chosen for me. Like I feel like I just work within what I'm allowed to do. You know, like I just make a best case scenario out of all of my limitations that are put upon.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really, you know, what it is. I don't get to go see the ocean under the ocean. You know, I mean, and if I get to go to Paris, which I did once, it wasn't because I worked my ass off to get there. It was because my sister won a lottery ticket. You know, and I did work my ass off to get there, but like I couldn't have gone if I was still working. I really got to go to Paris because I got fired. You know, we all got laid off. I always say fired because it hurt.
I'm I'm thankful for the fact that I get to go in every single day and create an experience for customers,
Yeah.
and create something that they may come back to, and come back again. And that's what I'm grateful for, even though I don't know what my financial situation will be like. But it's, again, like you said, it's working within reason, and it's understanding like your limitations and what you can and can't handle.
Well, it's nice to help people when they appreciate it. It's hard to help shitty people who don't want your help, like as your job. That's
I
hard.
feel I feel appreciated. I feel listened to.
Good.
It's hard walking away from a corporate makeup, because, like you were saying before, looking at the world that way can seem like, who has the time for that? I have to get up at 6:50 a.m. and hit the traffic and be at work at 9 o'clock and come home at 5. And like, I only have a few days to like spend time with my kids or play my video games or go out and do the things that I love. This is true, but I do feel that there is more that you can get out of life than that.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
I know.
harder,
It's
but
part of the reason I moved and traveled and different things like that.
I'm having a mush attack.
Oh, your kitty?
Mm-hmm. I will say this: cat paws are the most adorable thing that has ever existed. They're just they're great for they're very great for stress relievers. Let me just put it like that.
Hmm. Do you just touch your cat's paws?
She I'll put my like finger on her paw and she'll just like
Hmm.
squeeze.
Louis is asleep on my lap right now, and I know that doesn't sound like
Same.
a big deal, but it's a big deal. Like he's really
Twixie's
cute.
Twixie's also kind of like tucked in and
Yeah, I know. Hey, guess what?
What?
My neck hurts.
Again? I don't know what we're gonna do, honey. This is a bit of an issue.
I
Have
don't
you,
know. I'm going to the chiropractor tomorrow. I'm gonna make him handle it.
can we segue just for a moment? The tea that I made with
More segueing would be good.
oh yes, that's gonna be amazing. I made a tea that was from mint leaves that are locally from Florida
Mm.
and palmetto honey, which is also made local here in Florida. And this tea was absolutely amazing. And believe it or not, like this like thing, I've showed this before on the podcast. It is from IKEA. This was $7. I think $7 or $8. And it makes absolutely fabulous tea. And
That's
it's
a
really
really
good.
good deal on a French press.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still feel insulted last night from when you told me that I'm a little too bouge. You didn't say too bouge, but you just were like, well, you're known to be bouge. Like, it was like, oh, God. Like,
Okay, so just to explain myself, we were like checking up because we were thinking about going to Vegas
yeah.
for my birthday in
Sounds like a
January.
good idea, doesn't it? But go
But
on. Go on.
Karissa kind of like wanted to go to like the more expensive hotels, like on the strip, and
It's
I'm
like $200 a night. Like, that's not really, like, crazy. Like, it's nice and it is
okay.
bouge, but, like, it's not, like, insane. How much do you think our Santa Barbara room was? Wasn't it, like, 130?
No, it was like $98.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah,
you
those.
sure it wasn't, like, 119?
We got a deal. Do you remember? We
Yeah,
did
we
that thing.
did. We
We
did
did a
any 4-star hotel.
correct with Priceline, and that's the hotel that we got.
And it was like, like, no matter where we go, at least it's gonna be bouge.
And that hotel we went to was part of the Hyatt, so it was like part of the Hyatt chain, and it was like right next to the beach. And I remember when we were walking down the beach, we saw so many Volkswagen campers. It was the shit. I love VW campers.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was
I
so
know.
cool.
I was trying to explain to David why we don't stay at the cheap hotels, and, my explanation was just one word. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Cockroaches. That was, like, my way of, like, explaining why we don't
I live with
stay.
cockroaches right now.
You're like, "Well, that's the whole point. You wanna go on a vacation where you get away from 'em."
I think like cockroaches have even infested like the good hotels. Trust me, like
Yeah, I think you're probably right, dude.
they're clever little they've been around longer than I think any other insect. Like they've been around for like a million years.
So this podcast episode just got better, because I brought up cockroaches on the fucking podcast.
Nasty motherfuckers.
That's the worst thing ever, dude. One time, okay, I've had cockroaches at different times in my life, but the last time that I had one was in my tiny apartment, and there was just one cockroach. And I think, like, he got in from outside. Like, I don't think that I actually had cockroaches.
This
No,
big?
little guy. But not the tiny ones, but he was like a little cockroach. And I chased this motherfucker, like, as if he was, like, a being to catch. Like, it was like, he's so small, and I, like, chased him through, like, all these different areas, and it was, like, this tiny little apartment, and I was gonna kill that motherfucker, and he, like, got away somehow. And I, like, chased him down through, like, so many different things, like, it was like, "You have got to be fucking kidding me." Like, and then finally he's just, like, gone, okay? So I leave town. I come back. The night I come back, that motherfucker's sitting on the table, okay? He's been staying in my apartment while I was out of town, and he's just, like, there, like, just, like, chill, like one lonely cockroach. And I was just like, "Tonight you die, motherfucker!" And I, like, like, hunted him down. Like, I've never felt so much
This
control.
feels like a Ghostbusters episode. Yeah, go on.
I've never felt so much control over the place that, like, I live in. Like, it was all my responsibility, and I will not let this thing live in here. Like, I was just like, "Oh, I don't think so." Like, I've never felt that way, and I killed it, man. Like, it was like, "Oh, now you are dead, and you are gone, and I am alone again, thank God."
Did I tell you what Twixie does to cockroach? Okay, so specifically big cockroaches. Twixie dissects cockroaches
No,
like as
that's
if
great,
she's
that's better than my story.
but the problem is that she moves the pieces all over the place. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
cats are great, wonderful animals to have.
oh, she's a murderer. Oh, she will murder a lizard, like slaughter a duck, squirrel,
Like,
like
play with them while they're dying.
oh
So
yeah.
weird. So weird. Cats
But
are just
like
like,
again, like they're just like dogs. They come
no.
dogs are
No,
from
they're not.
wolves.
Nothing
Eh,
like a dog.
No, well, first of all, dogs, they come from wolves. So they're pack animals.
Yeah, they're
So
awesome.
yeah, they're definitely, and cats primarily, they've always been they're prey, like they're prey. They will go after anything and everything and will devour anything and everything in its path. So as cute and fluffy as she is, she's my little monster. My little monster.
I feel like there's like a whole group. It's like kind of like an old tradition, but like in the South, maybe where people used to like practice like voodoo or something, like Louisiana. They're all like anti cat. Like superstition, says that like a cat. So there's like a whole group of people, just like tons of people. Their mom didn't like cats because of that, and they don't either. And they're honestly just kind of afraid of cats because they think there's some type of like superstitious type thing going on with a cat. It's like
I
weird. Like I
see.
remember like hearing somebody be like, "Oh, I don't do cats." I was like, "What? Like what do you mean?" They're like, "I'm superstitious." I'm like, "Oh, I've never heard of that. That you could be superstitious about cats, but it's like something to do with like that type of like I don't want to call it magic because it's not like magic, but I don't know what voodoo is. It's some type of practice.
It's just it's interesting
There's different
because
kinds too.
oh yeah, for sure, but like there's also keep in mind that like there's an evolution that takes into play where over time these if it wasn't for the Egyptians, we wouldn't have cats today.
What they really bred them into
Yeah.
that.
And it's the same thing with hunters. They were the ones that hunters and gatherers bred wolves into dogs, because these lonely wolves realized if they communicated with the hunters and they helped them, that they would get food. And this connection basically over time evolved to what we have today. And this applies to like all different types of species and creatures like among us. It's just realizing that everything and anything that's around us has adapted and evolved to the world that we're in right now.
I think someone had told me that cats domesticated themselves.
No, it was the
Uh,
Egyptians.
well, no, I mean like the cats were domesticated with the Egyptians, but it was like almost like the cat's choice. Like it started wanting to come around humans, as far as I understand. Like
Hmm.
it chose more or less over time.
Well,
Somebody
it
told me
was
something like that at one point. I don't
well,
know.
it was primarily feral, so it was smaller cats. The Egyptians realized that the way that they would be able to tame the cats was use the ones that were kind of pushed out of the litter. They were considered the unstrong ones, so the more tame, and they would use those and then breed those. And then from there, they got tamer and tamer to where they became more friendly and more accustomed to humans. So,
That's what I heard. I don't know what I heard about the cat though, but
yeah.
the way cats live in Europe is really fascinating. Like how they can be like wild. And then same with like Japan. Like a lot of people have indoor outdoor cats in Japan. Like
Well,
it's much more common.
Twixie's kind of indoor outdoor ish. Like she likes to
But I
go
mean like a
outside.
legit indoor outdoor cat is like so different.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind, like, there's a lot of diseases that can come into
I
that. It can
know.
cost a lot more with the vet. People think it's cheaper. It's actually not. It's sometimes more expensive. You're eating Panda Express, aren't you?
No. There's Do you guys have something that's like a noodle zoo?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. All right. So I have something that other places don't. This one was called Zamerix. See this?
Mm-hmm. It's a noodle cafe.
Yeah, dude. All they do is make pasta dishes. It's fucking cool.
Oh my
And you can like
god.
customize it. It's basically like getting salads, but it's pasta.
Oh my god.
Cause like what I really, really wanted today was sweet green. And like there is no sweet green here. Which, like, I could move to Iowa City and open a sweet green. Oh my god.
I don't
And
know what that is either.
whoever is listening is gonna steal my business idea, and then it'll
That's okay.
be done for me. But sweet green is, like, the bougiest we were talking about bouge, is the bougiest salad place you can possibly buy a salad at. But it's like the I wanna say Chipotle of salads, but it's like it's not because it's bouge. Your salad is like 20 bucks.
If I would ever open up a shop as a with my experience, I would open up a sandwich shop. I would make
Yeah,
pork belly sandwiches, corned beef sandwiches.
it's a cool
I'd make
idea.
like a Nashville, Nashville style fried chicken. That's me. I would that's kind of like what I would like. I would like to make my own sandwich shop.
Dude, if we ever feel like we have more time on our hands, which is not usually a feeling that we have, but if we ever do have more time on our hands, it'd be fun to make a food podcast, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can call it the grooviest foodie.
Or we can just talk about food for like 10 minutes of every podcast because we are like stoners that have munchies a lot.
Oh my god! And I literally like work in food.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
god!
I've eaten a lot of food. I've been to Michelin restaurants
Michelin star. Do you know why it's called Michelin?
because there's this like competition.
It has to do with the Michelin Tire Company.
Is it really the same people?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it used to be back in the day that when they were making tires, they weren't they didn't have the right materials until they kind of figured them out along the way. And one of the ways they kind of advertise these new type of tires is with Michelin stars. So being that like, oh, this is something you should take your like tires, your car and drive to. Like this is definitely worth them. Like two is like
Wow.
you
Okay.
so two is like something you should like travel to, or you can definitely like take a bus or a train or whatever. And then like 3 stars is like you should definitely like take a flight and go out there and experience it.
That's really
So
cool.
by a tire company. That's why it's called Michelin.
I know that chefs like they
I don't
care a
care
lot
about a
about it.
Michelin star.
Not
I
everybody
just
does, but like some people do. Like my ex.
what I care about though is I would really love to create like the sandwich shop, but to be infused.
Oh,
So I would
just
love
be
to like
high as fuck from
no
the
no no no
inside
no no no.
out.
The bread would be infused with THC. I would love
Yeah.
to make like a THC infused brioche bread and use that.
That's a really great idea, just in
Hmm.
general, to make a THC brioche. I love brioche.
Yeah, and I
One
would
time, yeah, I
no
had
no
like
no.
a
I want to.
dessert burger one
You had a
time.
dessert burger. Walk me
It
through this.
was
Okay,
amazing.
what was in there? I want to hear this.
I don't
What? What do you mean you don't
know.
know? You had it.
Yeah, I remember like just making a bunch of stuff with brioche buns, and then I remember he took me into a restaurant and like they were like focused on brioche like at that moment. I had a brioche like dessert burger, and I think it was like with these like caramelized onions, and like the meat had been like sweetened somehow, and it had this like honey or caramel or something on it, and it had a brioche bun, and it sounds bad, but it was like enjoying a Cinnabon at the same time as enjoying like a freaking like In-N-Out burger, but like a good one. Man, and I have had some awesome like bouge burgers.
I
Like what do they call
have
those burgers that are like over the top? There's a name for it.
well, my favorite type of overtop burger is the
Over the
it's
top
like
burger is what we're
it's
calling it.
it's a mash burger. So what you do is you take two patties, and then in between you take like mushrooms and like mozzarella cheese. And I sometimes like to put like a little jalapeno in there for kick. And then you kind of close them together, and then you sear it. And then what you do is you put in like get like a brioche bun, you put on butter, and you kind of toast it. You put on a bed of arugula, and you could probably put like a carrot slaw, which would be really good. You follow me with this?
People like that carrot slaw. I remember like people doing that a lot with like spicy food, like putting like a carrot slaw or like some type of slaw on stuff.
Oh,
I
I
don't know.
love
It's like
me.
interesting. I really like it when it gets like super like vinegary. Like I think that tastes like really really stupid good. But I also had like a there's like a brioche bun with like this really really good like whipped like almost like ice cream inside of it with like some type of fruit or something.
Oh, keep
And the
in
ice cream
mind,
with the brioche really like melts. That's what's good about brioche is that it melts. It's
it's
like
a
the
good,
dessert of bread. It's
yeah.
damn good.
And there's a lot of things you can kind of play around with brioche, which is absolutely amazing. Like my dream is to like make it with a corned beef. Like make like a corned beef hash sandwich with brioche. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
I hate that I can't figure out the name for like a fancy burger. Like it's killing me. Like it would always be like there's like a name for like burgers that are like really like over the top. And I don't know, it's like a bistro burger or like but it's not bistro burger. It's like there's this freaking name and it's like killing me. But I also like I don't feel very well, so like it's really normal for me to just like not like feel well, like not have like a
I
good like
know.
train of thought. I
I'm
feel
like
like
I'm completely drained. I'm just done.
I
But
told you I was like I swear like I could do a better job on this podcast like a different
no,
night.
no, no. You're fine. Like I think we've had a really good time. We kind of like hashed out a lot of good shit. We talked about good food, and
I'm not done talking about burgers.
oh, I know you're not done talking about burgers.
Just so you know.
I know.
There's a zombie burger. There's a restaurant here called Zombie Burger and it does really really well. And one of the things that I think is crazy is that they have a macaroni and cheeseburger. Does that sound interesting to you?
A mac and cheese burger. That does sounds pretty heavy, but yeah.
Right? I know.
It's like a penne alla vodka pizza.
It's like a patty of fried macaroni and cheese. So it's been like pressed into like a patty shape
Mm-hmm.
and it's breaded on the outside and it's
Mm-hmm.
all macaroni and cheese and they like put that in there and it's like stupid good. They also make one where the bun is that fried macaroni and cheese and then you have like burger inside and that's just like crazy. This place like you're not going to feel good the rest of the week. I mean that's I shouldn't say that about businesses, but like
No,
for me if I ate it, I'm going to be heavy for a few days. You know, like I'm going to feel
yeah.
like I should have just ate some vegetables.
Your bathroom is not gonna like you. Like,
They have these chocolate shakes that are
oh
like I mean
god.
they make shakes. Like that's their other thing is like burgers and shakes, you know. And it's just like A shake like puts me to bed like a little baby with a bottle.
I have to tell
I love
you,
shakes.
we make this. I make this homemade focaccia bread with semolina flour. Oh my god! But it's like the heaviest shit ever. But it is so fucking good with like a hummus.
Yum.
Oh my god! Yeah, and like just like imagine all of the carbs just from like that bread. But it's just so fucking good. Do you know what semolina flour is?
No.
It's made from durum. So durum wheat. It's very dense, but like it has this aromatic smell and taste that is just unreal.
How'd you find out about it?
Tom, which is the other chef in the kitchen, he brought it in one day and he was like, "Here." I was like, "All right, let's try this." So I perfected a recipe. But anyway,
It sounds really good. I think it's called a glam burger.
I like it. You don't think I'm nuts? You know what kind of burger I love? I love a diner burger. I love a burger on a challah bread, which is generally what is put on, and just burger, lettuce, onions, mayo, and cheese.
Do you like a burger or a chicken sandwich?
I'm a burger person. I like burgers. But I like simple. I'm serious. I would prefer to go to just like a diner right down the street and just get like a burger from a diner.
I don't know why I feel like I'm
not a glam person. I'm not like I will get a glam burger, but they make me feel so sick. I just want to throw up. Like nothing against the chefs or anything. It's just too much.
I've had some good glam burgers. Like I had a truffle burger one time. We used to get this burger at this place called Stout Burger. Burger.
I know you've told me about this before. The truffle burger.
Shuffle. Yeah. Fuck yeah. That thing had this like cream sauce. Oh my god. Like smother me in it. It was so good. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you wanna wrap this up? Cause I got one to do. It's
like we just had like bad sex or something. You're like, I mean, no. Unless you're like close, like I feel like we should end this.
No, it's just like I'm tired, and it's not that also that like I know your neck is hurting you, and we've had
I'm just having a fun time making innuendos, so don't mind me.
No, I don't mind you. You're doing great.
It's been a good podcast. I want to thank our listeners.
Thank you for dealing with us, dealing with our shenanigans or bullshit.
I don't know. Hopefully you had a good distraction on your like drive to your 9 to 5 that I made you feel really shitty about. But good for you for sticking with it.
Yes.
Gotta get that money so that you can eat that
money, honey.
Bougie salad.
Get your Christmas presents this year, you know?
Presents for others. Stop buying shit for yourself.
Yeah. Thinking about others. Very important. Well.
Peace.
On that news, if you want to check out more of American Groove, you can find us on Instagram at American Groove Pod. And if you want to message us out, Karissa will be there to answer any of your questions.
I do that.
Yes, she does. And if you want to check out more of the podcast, you know where to find us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, what is the best thing you can do for the podcast, Karissa?
Writing reviews. Even if it was like a word or two, like, this is awesome.
Or you can just say Twix.
That was cute. Just say meow.
Just say meow. Well. Well, anyway, this has been really fun. We love you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.